Championship, PGA Tour, SEC football, the NFL, and February 3rd, Super Bowl 53.
Buckle up, America. It's a wet and wild Friday night action of professional rugby. Coming into your living rooms, the fastest growing team sport in the United States. Utah Warriors, Austin Elite. Coming up. From Zions Bank Stadium in Salt Lake City, CBS Sports presents Week 4 of Major League Rugby. It's the Utah Warriors and Austin Elite. A very good evening and welcome to Utah. Dan Powell with you, joined by former USA International Brian Hightower. And Brian, in the makeup of this season, tonight is a big one, in particular for the home side, the Warriors.
Absolutely, Dan. 0-2 coming into tonight. They've got to get it done at home. Look for Utah to use their big, powerful bodies to try to soften up the Austin defense. Their most capable ball carrier, the powerful Paul Lasike, former BYU All-American. He's going to get the lion's share of ball tonight.
And he loves that lion's share.
Last week against Glendale, and they knew he was going to run at him all day. Still nothing they can do to stop him. He just dares you to make that tackle, and then the offload, always so good.
For more on Lasike, the third member of our team, Stacey Pates, is with the big man right now.
It's always great to see parts of life come full circle, and that is the case for Paul Lasike. He played 4 years at running back right here in Salt Lake City at BYU. Now he is back to his rugby roots. What is it like for you to play professional rugby on U.S. soil?
Oh, it's awesome. It's amazing to be back here in Salt Lake City and playing rugby, the sport that I grew up with. And like I said, I played here at BYU, and so it's good to be playing in front of Utah again.
What are some things that you have to minimize against this Austin team to find yourself successful?
Giving the ball away. So, you know, we've done that in the past few games. We haven't kept on to the ball. And so if we can have ball retention and recycle the ball, I think we can come up with a W.
What are some things that your team focused on in preparation?
Pretty much ball retention. We focus on our lineouts and our set piece. And so if we can do that, then I think it should be good.
Paul Lasike, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
He's going to have a great match today, and he is not the only guy on this roster that can get to the gain line.
And Brian, let's take a look at that Nui Social Warriors outfit.
Lots of firepower on this Warriors squad. And look at number 8, Tavita Tamalau, the U.S. Eagle, number 8, 270 pounds, a wrecking ball. Vainicolo at 13 normally is the finisher for what Lasike starts at 12. For me, it comes down to number 10, Kurt Marath. Weak in defense last week. He's got to make tackles this week, Dan. And it's a much improving side from Austin that they'll be seeing tonight. They got their first victory last week.
They did, Brian, at home as well. No surprise, the victory came with the introduction of some new players. None more important than that man you see on your screen, Ned Hudson. A brace of tries for Hudson last week. None better than this individual effort on the kick return. They're going to have to be careful tonight, the Warriors, on their kick chase, watching Hudson. And that's not the only threat. If it's Hudson carving them from the back, they've got to watch the muscle up front. This man, Hunka Hermeses, possibly the form player of Major League Rugby thus far. He provides the muscle where Hudson provides the speed. They've got to keep their eye on both of them.
Let's look at that Austin starting lineup, brought to you by S-Blades.
Well, we've already talked about Hermeses. He's the one to watch in the pack. I also like the looks of Brad Clark as well in the 8 jersey. Very busy at the back. The battle in the 12 jersey. Suniula versus Lasike. It could go a long way to deciding this battle. Two very big mobile men in the middle of the field, folks. Keep your eye on both of them tonight. Well, folks, the stage is set. When we return at the break, we will have the first half action coming up. It's the Warriors and Elite coming up after this.
Major League Rugby on CBS Sports. Major League Rugby on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Nui Social. Warrior fans, it's time to rock and roll with Nui and get on your way to financial freedom. Go to Nui.social for more information. Proud partner of the Utah Warriors. By Intermountain Sports Medicine. Healthcare how, where, and when you want it. Intermountain Sports Medicine. HealingForLife.com. And by Big D Construction, providing unparalleled construction management, design, build, and general contracting services for 50 years.
And welcome back to an overcast Salt Lake City. Our referee in charge of Week 4 opening action is Scott Green, head referee who's had a very good start to the season. It'll be Austin on the left of your screen in the white, kicking off to Utah in the black. And the Warriors will get first use of the ball off the boot of Whippy. This will be a big part of tonight's game, Brian. You'd have to think the kicking game, it's going to be Gearman and Morat taking the bulk, but those fullbacks need to be on point as well.
And a last-minute inclusion, Jared Whippy playing fullback. Normally it's Don Potty. He's going to take a week off for an indiscretion from the last match, and that's a great start for Whippy. A beautiful kick into touch to relieve some pressure from those Warriors.
And our first look at the set piece this evening, it'll be Austin with the throw. Mitchell, 6'7", an obvious target in the line-out. Walsh moves to his left. Early feeling out process as Gearman goes wide. Picks up Hudson, a nice early touch for the fullback. And referee Green may have slipped up a little bit there on the tackle on Hudson, perhaps. An early penalty, it looks like, for Austin. And
interesting, we talked about Kurt Marath and his defense in the open, and you can see that he slides from fly half out to wing during the defensive sets, and I think that's just really an indicator that everybody on Utah knows that that's not the strongest defender in the back line. So it's probably a good strategic move to move him out and strengthen that line of defense.
I'm sure they watched a lot of film and looked at the traffic that Austin liked to send through that midfield, and they liked the matchup of Lasike and Vainicolo.
Well, I can't wait. Speaking of Lasike, the first time he runs into Andrew Suniula, his opposite number, wearing the number 12 for Austin, and we might just see that in a moment.
Mitchell again, strong at the top of that line out. As now the elite move this forward up towards the 22 of the Warriors. Walsh numbers to his right. Brayton Bark. South African born, now calls United States home. Suniula, there's the touch. Runs away from Lasike back into the traffic. Kutik, his first touch of his Major League Rugby season is not a good one as it spills forward. Now the counter begins. The Warriors come away with it. Morat, charge down, pressure from the elite. McClellan does extremely well to get back. There were 4 Austin players streaming through. That pass doesn't go to hand. Intercepted again. Well, it's end-to-end stuff here as Elkington goes for a run up towards the halfway line. Now Nichols snipes around as they slow things up with McClellan and Bryant handling in these wet, slippery conditions. We've already seen it, a couple of wayward passes.
Yeah, just a little slick out there, a drizzle coming down just occasionally. Mike Polifau already in the game wearing the number 21 jersey.
That's right, he was a transfer from the Seattle Seawolves, who granted him a release. Now playing with the Warriors. 21, a name very familiar to most American rugby fans. Here's Mike Polifau. Feels like he's been playing since the 90s, Mike Polifau. He's got to be at least 50. And now Pudick. Pudick, this is better from Zinzan Pudick as he goes up inside the 22 here of the Warriors. Here's the opportunity that the Austin faithful were waiting for, and the penalty comes their way. A choice here for Guillermin, the French fly half. Does he take an early three here, Brian, or do you continue to put the pressure on?
Well, it looks like decision time, and it's hard to know early stages of the game. I normally take the points early on just to get that scoreboard ticking over, and there is Guillermin, who does, in fact, point to the sticks. Great tackle by Anderson out on the wing for the Warriors and really saved that try from being scored. Zinzan Ilan Pudick with his first touch, looking very dangerous and just kind of back and forth, a little bit sloppy. We mentioned the weather. You can see it's overcast, a little bit of moisture coming out of the sky, but not a heavy downpour, nothing consistent. Well, it doesn't look, no it does. The tee goes down and some indecision. I think of multiple voices instructing Guillermin.
I think this is the right option, Brian, in these conditions. Big game for both these sides. 3 points may come back towards the back end of this game to be a favourable decision here for Austin. Guillermin now just outside the 22 on that far touchline for first points of the game. One stays across the face, is fielded by Morath, back to the 22 for a dropkick restart.
Speaking of Morath, you know, giving him a little bit of a hard time for his defensive effort last week, but the first tackle attempt that he had really put his shoulder in, caused a knock on for Austin Elite. So nice job. I hope he continues to make me eat my words.
Looks like he's going to try to go deep. He does. Well over the halfway line. Hudson finds his pressure reliever in Breitenbach. Breitenbach gets through the tackle of Lasike. Jensen, he lassos him on the 40-metre line and takes him to the ground. Now they continue across field. Walsh under pressure. Guillermin kicks through. Mitchell on the chase. The big man, that's a long way down to the bootlaces. 6'7". Morath with the turnover. No one at home. Pokes this one through. Plenty of white jerseys on the chase back, though.
Nice little kick downfield by Morath. It's like he's found the fountain of youth. First one there on the chase as well.
Well, those slings and arrows that you've shot his way may have motivated Kurt Morath.
I hope so. I hope so.
Guillermin kicks. This one won't find the line. Anderson. Dangerous in open space, as is this man, Whippy. Whippy created the mismatch here. Lauti looked to his outside, and he saw the touch judge. He was looking for a black jersey instead. Tamalau finds Williams. Williams, exciting young back rower in the number 6 jersey for the Warriors. Olsen. Heavily bandaged head. McClellan, hard unders line McClellan, runs into the shoulder of Mitchell though. Up to the task early on. Tamalau. A true game breaker is Tavita Tamalau. One of 2 Warriors players named in the USA squad. Now Nichols finds Tucci.
Just not a whole lot of structure in this multi-phase attack, and it falls apart pretty quickly after first phase for the Warriors. It's something that maybe with a little bit more time together gets a little bit more solid, but so far they need to be able to structure some pods in this multi-phase attack.
They've got the second phase. Well, Lauti took that ball a yard or two over the sideline already. Let's go down to Stacey Pates on the sideline.
Thanks, Dan. Well, Brian talked a little bit about the weather. The rain is coming down, but what you won't see is mud. That's because they're playing on a turf field. It offers some different dynamics and challenges, though. However, one thing you're going to see is in the aerial game, when the ball lands on this turf field, it's going to stick into the ground. You'll notice that. And you can see these little pieces that are on the turf. That's called crumb rubber. Offers a little bit of padding, still not the same effect when the guys land as it would be on a grass pitch. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments they have to make if the rain does continue to come down.
Yes, thank you, Stacey.
So far, not a whole lot of air under these balls, not a lot of loft in the kicks that we've seen so far, but might become a factor. We talked about Whippy at the back for the Warriors, and judging the ball and not playing a whole lot at 15. We'll see how he handles it. Take a look here, just a lot of forces of physics at work. You can see right on the near side there, right by the referee, had a pretty good look at it and basically said, you know what, it's a mutual blame for the collapse, and we'll re-rack this thing.
Real impressed with the way Scott Green has handled the set piece. And there you see, he gave the warning to Austin. Now the free kick to Utah.
Yeah, you could see Mason Peterson wearing number 3. You could see his elbow just going down. And as soon as the referee sees that elbow go down, he basically blames Peterson for bringing down the prop across from him, which is Tucci. Take a look at the arm of Mason Peterson, and he'll just wrench that elbow down. You can see it there. That was enough. The referee said, yep, that was you. Subtle, but that was the call.
It's like a fine science, isn't it, the scrummaging, Brian? As the Warriors take the tap off the free kick. And there's the first charge from Lasike for the game.
Well, you can see Austin Elite, Dan, they're trying to come up and prevent Lasike from getting any head of steam.
Now Nichols, options both ways. Will go to the reliable source of Morath. Pressure, ball comes in to Tuipulotu as he spills that. Now Hudson at the back. This is where he's dangerous. Broken play, Hudson. Draw and pass, comes to Taylor. Taylor on Palafau. Palafau does well. Brings in the Austin winger. Gearman finds Brayton Barr. Now Gearman again, long pass. Nice bounce up for Suniula though. They continue to push wide. The Warriors though, they've done well in this defensive stand, haven't given up much yardage. And now force the error as well. Tamalau, big fan, Tamalau, open spaces. Finds Tucci and he's brought down just short of the 22. Is that one? Looks like it's coming back. No advantage here for the Warriors for the initial handling error against the Elite. But Brian, early on, these handling errors really costly for both these sides.
Yeah, and, the ball in tight spaces, and I think, credit Austin and Utah both for getting in the face of their opposition and really taking away that space to move the ball. Got to be a little bit more clinical. Sometimes it means moving either a step wider or a step deeper so that those passes go to hand.
After the initial mistake from Austin, no advantage for the Warriors. They'll come back and set this scrum here just inside the 40-meter line.
Last week, Utah used a lot of first phase ball to Lasike at 12.
There you see Palafau. Vanicolo not in the starting side as Palafau. He gets the start at outside center. Now Jensen spots a little seam. It closes quickly though. Saw that mismatch of Gearman. Morath goes to throw. Oh, great hands there from Olsen. Looking like he's pulling down a rebound for the local Utah Jazz there. Might get a phone call now they're in their off-season.
Tell you what, it's a good thing Olsen was there because that ball gets chipped forward by Austin, and if Olsen's not there, there's nobody back for the Warriors.
They're offside against Austin. Now you would think Morath will take a shot at 3 points here. Open the scoring for the game.
Well, so far, we talked about it in the beginning, Dan, that if Morath can bring his shoulders to this contest, he's absolutely deadly off the tee. At least he was last week, not to curse him, but he's great with the boot. both off the tee and from hand as well. So if Utah can get on the board first, I think a lot of momentum for the Warriors. And we mentioned how important a win would be for them. To go 0-3 with a season that's only 9 games long would be a dramatic step in the bucket.
Well, as it stands now, they're at the bottom of the table. Austin sit in 4th, but I believe it's only 5 points separating the two sides. So a bonus point victory here tonight, holding Austin to none, would catapult them well and truly back into contention. And I look to get that catapult loaded here off the right boot of Kurt Morath. Great strike from the Tongan international. No mistakes, an early lead for the Warriors. It's 3 points to 0, 14 minutes gone here in Salt Lake City.
Both defenses really might have to relax and take one step backwards. That cost Austin 3 points, and they've both been tickling that offside line, trying to take that space away. As we talked about, both teams have some really effective runners.
Whippy again, off the left boot. And clears that one successfully up to the 40-meter line. Almost a carbon copy of our previous restart here this evening. Ryan, you touched on it. The line speed from both these sides has been tremendous.
Looking at the lineups, Dan, coming into this contest, I really like the back row for this Austin team. Brayton Bach, Hammersize, and Ross Deacon. And I think if they get a chance throughout the first half to maybe get a little bit more interplay together, they could be one of the controlling forces for this Austin team.
Talking of controlling forces, it was the Warriors pack that controlled the elite there, forcing the turnover. They've definitely made improvements week by week here, the Warriors. Yeah, you see the congratulations going to Tamalau.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about him before, 270 pounds, and once he puts his shoulder into anything, it's going to give. It's just, that's what happens when you put that much force into an object. Single-handedly stop the maul.
As we see Nichols, he'll have to put in here for the Warriors. Here comes Lasike. Tamalau goes short. There's Suniula. Oh, brilliant offload back to Tamalau. Second phase play from the Warriors. Olsen, he's isolated. Olsen needs some support. Comes in the shape of Jensen. Now Nichols lets two go before Morath plays out the back. Now they go wide. Looks like Whippy out there, who lost his footing right on the halfway line for the Warriors. Nichols, McClellan, tip on. Great ball. Jensen can't get the arm free. Now he does. Tucci still going. And another offload. This is brilliant stuff here from the Warriors. Tuipulotu. He drifts across to his left. They're on the 22. Another opportunity here is Lasike. When you're that big, when you're that explosive, you're going to want to have a couple of cracks around the breakdown yourself. Now Morath, numbers. Morath across field. Picks up Whippy. Drawing pass. Throws the dummy. Steps, loses the footing. Stretches out. There's the opening try. You would think he's close. He's over. The Warriors. They're on the board through Whippy.
Well, he was one to watch from the beginning. And Whippy at 15 really has answered some of those questions early. And what a great nod to his little brother at home, Josh Whippy. He broke his fib in the first match a couple of weeks ago. He'd love to be out here playing with the Warriors. Instead, it's his brother Jared who gets on the board first. And a great read there. You could see Sione Fangawea, the wing for Austin Elite. He had to make a choice. He chose to go wide to take the support runner. Whippy with the dummy, back inside, barely makes it to the line, trips, and Hudson almost gets him before he crosses over, but a nice individual effort by Whippy and a good pass to release him by Kurt Morath as well. But it all starts, you could go back in your mind's eye to that first run by Paul Lasike, softens up the defense, a little offload to Tamalau, and the ball starts rolling.
You see the 33-year-old Kurt Morath will look to convert. It's been an electric opening here from the Warriors. There was the softening up period. This last 5 minutes, so the Warriors, they've found their rhythm. As Morath looks to extend the lead out to 10 here. This kick out on the right touchline. Flags are up, conversion successful. It's 10 points to 0. Warriors over Austin. And welcome back. That converted try pushes out to 10 points to 0. It's the Warriors. After 20 minutes here at beautiful Zions Bank Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. And Brian, this is exactly what the Warriors needed. They needed to get out of the gates and start quickly.
You know, we talked about Paul Lasike so much in the first half or at the Open. Last week, he got so much ball, and you could see it wore him down by the end of the game. I like what they're doing so far, using Mike Polifau and using Lasike more of a dummy runner and using Polifau as the first strike and maybe shifting the ball around a little bit more. If Lasike has fresh legs at the end, this Austin side is going to be in trouble.
Well, the skills there of Elkington to take that kickoff, sublime. There's our first high kick from Morath, goes down the middle of the field. Oh, and there's the effects of the slippery conditions as Breitenbach. It goes right through the breadbasket, and that is a big, big mistake for Austin off the restart.
Yeah, I don't know if you can blame the weather for that one. That's just a classic. Take your eyes off the ball for a split second, it goes straight through. A good break there, fortuitous for the Warriors. Mike Polifau, how about it? You mentioned his age. He's actually 36 years old, which is interesting because now both back lines have a 36-year-old in their ranks. Two former Eagles in the form of Andrew Suniola and Mike Polifau.
Well, if this game was a vineyard, it'd be expensive with all the fine wine out there. Well-aged. Lasike. Lasike gets through. Lasike. He'll need some support. Maybe he won't.
Oh, no.
Lasike. The demolition man just destroyed Polifau wide. Rugby, can he get a double? Louty to the corner.
Oh, the flag has gone up. Brilliant run by Lasike. But you could see from here, Dan, it was Louty's foot on the line. Watch Lasike.
I think referee Scott Green is conferring with his assistant referee. They may use the TMO here, Brian. He just wants to check the grounding from up here. It certainly looks as though it didn't get down.
Yeah, no, you can see the foot clearly in touch, and I think the discussion really is about, was there a high tackle that resulted in Lauti going into touch? And if the high tackle prevents the try from being scored, we'll check this out. Watch Lasike motor, sit down, and again, great offload. And another one there by Tuipulotu, and then Polifau just gets it as far away from the white jerseys as he can. So definitely the tackle went up above the shoulder. The question was, did he step out before that arm went around the neck?
Well, you see Jared Whippy pleading with the assistant referee for the high shot there. Well, more twists than a Game of Thrones episode, this one, Brian. It was a foot on the line. Was it a high tackle? Did he lose it? Who knows?
You know, and if you're the back line, one more look here. You know, I feel like Lauti definitely touched the white chalk before the contact was made. No doubt about it. He's certainly in touch. There's no doubt there.
Right there, yep.
Right there.
You're right. Definitely on the paint. Good job from the assistant referee. Let's wait and see what the decision is, though. So no try. We're coming back for a high tackle. It looks like previous to that indiscretion on the sideline, they're coming back for a high tackle. Yeah. Just on where Scott Green has given that penalty.
And he got it absolutely right. And the first time that we've used the TMO, the television match official, which has been rolled out for this game, the first time in the MLR. And I think they get it spot on. Lauti's foot goes into touch, then the high tackle comes. So it's not a penalty try, just a penalty. But still, Warriors, 5-meter scrum.
Well, I like the odds of Tamalau off the back here. 5 meters out from the line. He'll be tough to stop. They've moved Suniula in. He offloads Lasike. The irrepressible force and the immovable object come together. Lasike and Suniula. Still with the Warriors, though. 5 out from the line. Slow ball for Nichols, finds Tamalau. This is 1 out stuff here, looking for a little bit of individual brilliance perhaps to crack this Austin line. Morath patiently waiting to the right. Forwards go again, a little closer. Now he comes around to the left. Ball is slow though. Now he has it. Morath to the line. Lasike short, he's got to score. Lasike, the wrecking ball. He's in for the second Warriors try.
Based on their last 2 encounters, I think Zinzan Elan Pudik is going to have nightmares about Paul Lasike tonight. That first, the big ramble downfield, and he just bunts him off with the big stiff arm. And then this time, all fairness to Zinzan, no one's going to stop Paul Lasike from that short a distance to the try line. The big man gets it over. No doubt. You could see Morath setting it up. Long before the ball comes out, Morath starts to walk to the left. Got Lasike outside of him, and there's no doubt where that ball's going to go.
Just sitting here wondering, Brian, if you're at the Chicago Bears and you're watching this guy carry the ball, do you say to yourself, maybe we shouldn't have had him blocking all the time. Maybe we should have given Big Paul a chance to run with the ball. They had the fridge back in the 80s doing it. Why not? Hey, NFL's loss, rugby's game. I'll take Paul Lasike.
Indeed, and I'm sure the population of Utah is very excited to have that man back in state.
Morath looks to stay perfect off the tee. Just curls at the last moment. Unsuccessful. Score remains 15 points to 0. 25 minutes in the books here. It's the Warriors in control over Austin.
Well, if you're Austin, you got to get back in this thing. Down by 15. Time to go to work.
They keep kicking down to Jared Whippy, and his left boot keeps clearing the ball pretty successfully. This one just shy of the 40. We talked in the pre-game, Brian, a little bit about how Austin finds success. It's going to be in that back row, really, isn't it? The three of them, they've just got to get their hands on the ball.
Well, you take a look at what they've tried so far, and I like the first touch from Andrew Suniula. There's no reason not to go back to that. Have him do the same thing Paul Lasike is doing. Try to get a little bit of go forward, maybe an offload, at least set up for your next phase. Andrew Suniula is going to find the gain line most of the time.
Great take at the top there. Comta. And now they come out to Hudson. And jinx his way through. The elite will play with slow ball here. And turned over ball as well. And look at big Paul Lasike smashing left foot down to the halfway line. What can't he do? Now Mitchell. Suniula, quick hands. Brown. Comta. Victor Comta, born in Los Angeles, played his rugby in France. Now Suniula, first receiver. Long, lofted pass goes to Brayton Buck. Gets away from the first tackle of Tuipulotu before Lasike brings him down on the 40. Now Walsh finds Gearman. Kudik. Close to the sideline here, Austin, and turned it over again. That one, though, could have spilled forward from the Warriors. Referee Green, he agrees. So they dodge a bullet there, Austin, with the handling error from the Warriors. Then maybe a penalty coming here for a little bit of back chat too. Looks like he may be marching them back 10.
Yeah, what is he calling intentional knock on? Plus 10.
Maybe played the ball in front of the player, he knocked it. I'm not too sure. It was a little messy over there.
Right.
Nonetheless, penalty for Austin. Line out here, 5 out, and you would think at 6'7", Ben Mitchell, he's going to be a target.
Yeah, solid so far in the line out, but the last time we saw them try to maul, Utah stood him up, so we'll see if they can get a little bit more organized off of this line out. There is your target.
And it's a good target. The man lovably known as Big Ben. The England native. Made his way across the pond. I believe he's played a bit of rugby in your neck of the woods up in Aspen, Brian.
Indeed. Why wouldn't you come to Aspen and play a little summer rugby?
Here's Austin. Slow ball here for Walsh. Deacon. Austin playing very, very tight here. Looks like Walsh is caught up at the bottom of that ruck, so the forwards through Brayton Buck will use it again. They have advantage. Hudson wants the ball to the right. He won't get it. They come to the left. Whangawia unable to spot a hole there in this Warriors defense. He's proved to be quite resilient thus far. Although Walsh, the sneaky little scrum half, well, the former life running eagle, he gets the first try for Elite. And this could be the start of the comeback that the Austin faithful were looking for.
They really needed that one to get back into this game. And there's several players on this Austin team that have been borrowed from New York. One of them, this man right here, Marcus Walsh from Connacht in Ireland. Played at Blackrock College. And just finds enough of a gap, some daylight through a sea of black jerseys and over the line. And that's what you want in your scrum half.
We have a 10-point ball game here. Gearman with a chance to reduce it to 8. This conversion missed a penalty from almost the exact same spot earlier. Let's see if the young French fly half has learnt from that kick.
Talked to Guillemin before the match from Montpellier over in France. Said he loves Austin. Weather's great. It's a college town. He's 22 years old. And he said he loves being in a college town. University of Texas. Not a bad place to be for a youngster. Flags are up, so Elite need to answer back, and they do.
That is a great hit back too. 15 points to 7. Very important that the Warriors don't lose their way here, Brian. A little bit of adversity comes. They can't slip back into old habits. Started the game sensationally as Morath goes deep to Taylor. Taylor just crashes that one back up. Under the attention of Elkington and Palafau though. Counter ruck comes in from the Warriors. It's strong. There's the turnover. McClellan, Jensen under pressure, can't get the ball away. McClellan has it now. Nichols, Morath. Tuipulotu. Hooker, he goes forward. Morath, blindside, finds Tamilau. Well defended though from Austin. They're matching numbers here against the Warriors. Jensen. Almost breaks through there, looks like two of the Austin defenders came together. Lasike, Whangawea shoots out the line again. Lasike, he's got open pastures. Great tackle from Guillemin to bring the big man down inside the 22 now. Nichols, Palafau. Flat pass finds Olsen. As the Warriors just 10 out from the line now. Whippy kicks over the top, needs the bounce of the ball, gets it. Walsh safely runs that over the touching goal. Well, tomorrow at noon Eastern, CBS Sports Network is on the diamond for a Conference USA softball showdown as Middle Tennessee and Florida Atlantic compete for an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. That one should be a good one, Brian. Florida Atlantic, Middle Tennessee. It really is a feature of CBS Sports in the summer here. The women's softball, I'll be tuning in for sure.
Utah knocking on the door, and Austin does well for a little bit of relief, and there is a pinpoint 22-meter drop kick, falls right in the hands of another white shirt.
And that was Whangawea out there with the take. Jensen comes in, looks to shut down this elite attack. Guillemin, they're going to run it. Suniula. Clearing kick from Suniula. Whippy though is able to keep that ball in play. Now Palafau. Still on his feet, Palafau. Does well to offload. Morath, they've got numbers. Whippy, that's the third time he's lost his footing. Whippy with no one around him. Louty now, that one's a high shot. And the crowd more than happy to let the officials know. And Scott Green, well, he's a seasoned campaigner, Scott Green. He's not going to miss that one. It'll be a penalty here for the Warriors.
Oh, we've seen twice now Austin Elite arms going high up on the neck of Louty. He's probably getting sick of that. The first one was the near try from earlier in the first half, and then next one here from Brown. Louty does well to stay on the job, but just can't lay the ball back. Looks like a discussion here. Referee wants to see another angle here. And it might be time for a yellow. Repeated infractions, Dan, we've seen this before, and wouldn't be surprised if Scott Green didn't go to his pocket.
I think that's why he's leaning on the TMO, just to see the difference between dangerous and reckless. Good old coat hanger, huh? Well, see Brown come across. He didn't really swing the arm. He more, I think they call it the old seatbelt tackle now, don't they? Where the arm comes up over the top. It's high, it's dangerous nonetheless. But referee Scott Green looks to be digging around in that pocket, which is not a good sign for Austin.
Yeah, one man's seatbelt is another man's clothesline, I guess. So Sinbin, 10 minutes. The Austin Elite will be without the services of Michael Brown. Now they have to find a front row sub for him during any scrum that occurs during this yellow card. But yeah, there you go. Repeated infractions and 2 dangerous tackles, too many for the Austin Elite. So now with an 8-point advantage and a 1-player advantage for the next 10 minutes on the clock, and they'll end the first half with that advantage. And if you're Alf Daniels, the coach of this Utah Warrior squad, you want points to come from this yellow card.
This is a really smart play here, Brian, electing for the scrum. Obviously Brown at hooker position, part of that trio in the front row. This is going to force a lot of pressure here. Now, for safety reasons, Austin, they will need to make another substitution here to have a complete front row in the scrum.
Yeah, indeed. And so in comes Siosi Finau, former center who now plays prop, went to Arkansas State. And there is Finau in the front row, as mentioned. So anytime there's a scrum, so Hudson, the fullback, will take a seat because of the front row replacement.
There you go, Hudson. He'll be allowed back on in 10 minutes when that yellow card is up. And now a chance for the Warriors to hit back here. They gave up that try moments ago. You would think right on the crest of a halftime break here. This is the critical last 5 minutes. Coaches often talk about it. All about doing positive things in this closing stages of the half. You want to go to the sheds with some momentum.
Little pod there. You can see the blindside wing coming in, and they get the penalty that they're looking for. We wonder if they'll go for another scrum. You know, and for my take, Dan, we saw a couple of scrums early on where it looked like Utah didn't necessarily get the best of this Austin team. There is the collapse, and sometimes with new front rowers coming in, and that's exactly what happens.
And this is a little bit of tactical gamesmanship here from the Warriors as well, knowing they have the advantage this close to the try line. I think they're pushing for that penalty try, Brian.
Yeah, and you can see referee having a good long look. And now it's Austin who steals the ball. Tight head. That is an interesting development there, and they get lucky with the Austin knock-on, and that is exactly the opposite of what you want to happen. 2 penalties in a row and call for the scrum, and a lot of confidence there, but Austin does well to answer back.
If you're going to call for the scrum, you've got to win the scrum. It's like Mike Tyson. Do you want to box or you want to play chess? If you play chess against Mike Tyson, you've got to play to your strengths there.
Yeah, exactly. And you better be sure that you have the ascendancy in the scrum. And that's what I was saying, is that from earlier scrums, I'm not sure that's the case anyways.
Just for the record, I wouldn't box or play chess against Mike Tyson. Here we go, Nichols with the put in. Another big scrum from the Elite though. Referee Green not happy, boring in from the side there, just trying to skew that scrum intentionally. And that penalty pretty close to the sticks. Just trying to get a visual on Kurt Morat. He seems to be making his way in. A pretty easy 3 points here, Brian.
I guess, hey, listen, if you're the Warriors, somebody better step up and say, let's not choose the scrum for our penalty option this time.
There you see Big Tamalau getting some attention. And Kurt Morat, decision time. They're going for the scrum again.
There's something that they know that we don't, Dan, for sure. We're about to find out.
Yeah, there's definitely been a conversation down there we're not privy to. It's Joe Nichols, younger of two Nichols brothers, in the side here for the Warriors. That's a better platform for the Warriors. Low pass, great pickup. Mora, Lasike looping. Pass doesn't go to hand. You would hate to see a turnover here if you're a Warriors fan after having a gift 3 points with a talented kicker like Morath. There's Elkington. He goes forward. They're looking to create some numbers out wide. Morath, the dummy. Morath just couldn't get the arms free. Had McClellan looming up on his left shoulder. Now Nichols under pressure. They'll be without a scrum half for this phase. Morath, slow ball. Tuipulotu. Now Morath again. Short ball, Palafau, doesn't go to hand. Put down, we're playing on. Morath, drawing pass. Beautiful stuff. Anderson. He's greased lightning out in that right wing, and the Warriors, they get the try.
Only 20 seconds left in the half, and that's got the crowd on its feet. But I tell you what, it was almost a disaster for this Utah Warriors squad. They spent the better part of the last 4 or 5 minutes trying to figure out a way to get to that try line. Made a few interesting decisions that just didn't go the right way, and Austin was playing great defense until looked like the advantage for intentional knock-on being played by the referee, and meanwhile a man down, and Austin doesn't have enough numbers to come across and cover Anderson as he gallops across the line for another Utah try. They really needed that. I was just thinking we could point back to that set, that 5-minute period, and if Utah didn't score in that period, Dan, it would have made things a lot more interesting for the Austin elite coming out of the break.
And now this kick from Morath to extend the lead going into the halftime break. Give them a 15-point buffer going into the break. Flags are up 22-7. Let's go down to the sideline. Stacey Pates has Pedre Vandenberg.
Thank you so much, Dan. First of all, let's talk about what answers do you need to come up with to slow down Paul Lasike?
Definitely handling errors. They're costing us at the moment. We're turning so many ball over to them. We go in good positions, turnover ball, and then they're in our half again. We definitely have to look into that.
What are your anticipated thoughts on what the talk in the locker room might be?
No, definitely it's going to be, I think a few hearts were going to fail today. We up there and we just make silly mistakes, and we have to work on that now.
And in what ways can you come back out in the next 40 minutes and show yourself?
We just have to come out from the start, try to get a score, a try on the board as quickly as possible, and then we'll see what happens after that.
Coach, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. They are looking for a chance to slow these home team Utah Warriors. We'll see what happens in the next 40.
Well, they certainly need to figure something out. 40 minutes in the books here in Salt Lake City. 22 points to 7. It's the Utah Warriors in control over the Austin Elite. When we return from the break, all the highlights from an explosive first half.
And welcome back to Zions Bank Stadium. Halftime break. It's 22 points to 7. The Utah Warriors in the lead over Austin Elite. And Brian, first half, it was the Warriors backline that really got things firing.
Well, they've just been protecting the ball better than the Austin Elite has. And right from the very beginning, floodgates open here. Jared Whippy with a nice little break set up by Kurt Marath and over for the first try. And then look out. Paul Lasike with a head of steam. You don't want any part of that. Then the first high tackle as Tonata Lauti tries to go over for the first try. And then 5 meters out, you got one option. Who are you going to give it to, Dan? I'd say Lasike. Austin comes answering back with a try from Marcus Walsh, but Utah's not done either. Lauti once again gets clotheslined, and that will cause Michael Brown to sit for 10 minutes. And off of that one-man advantage, Marath gets it back and then into the hands of Anderson. He'll finish the scoring. Utah up big.
Yeah, it's been a big first half for the Warriors. Coming up on CBS Sports Network, join the women of We Need to Talk Tuesday night at 7 Eastern as they bring you in-depth interviews with Houston Texans defensive back Kareem Jackson and this year's Boston Marathon winner Desiree Linden. Only on CBS Sports Network. When we return from the break, second half action continues here at Zions Bank Stadium. Warriors 22, Austin 7. It's halftime here at Zions Bank Stadium, 22 points to 7. It's the Warriors in the lead over Austin. Well, stay with us, folks, because next Saturday, CBS Sports Network is live from the Big Easy for more Major League Rugby action. Don't miss the Houston SaberCats and New Orleans Gold as they go head-to-head right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And Brian, that game has a lot of intrigue if you look at that logjam in the standings, especially outside of Glendale and San Diego.
Well, absolutely. You know, only 4 teams are going to make it into the postseason to play in those semifinals. And you're right, it's absolutely jammed up. And, you know, it's cliche to say it's anybody's contest, but right now, you know, 4 teams, who are you going to pick other than Glendale right now, who's the class of this league so far?
Well, we'll have a little more clarity after the break when we return. The second 40 minutes of action coming from Salt Lake City. Warriors, Austin coming up after this. And welcome back as the sun sets on Salt Lake City. We still have 40 minutes of action left here. The Warriors, though, they are in control over Austin, 22 points to 7. And Brian, a good crowd has poured in here at Zions Bank Stadium, considering the torrential rain we've had earlier in the day.
Yeah, look at those, some tough kids right there. It's got to be pushing the 40-degree mark, close to it. At least it seemed like that when we were out on the field. Maybe I'm getting a little softer, Dan.
There are the Warriors back out in the field. I will give them this hour a very vocal crowd here. Kurt Morath, well, he answered some of the calls that were asked of him.
Indeed, and that man right there, he has been on an absolute rampage. Jared Whippy, as we mentioned, try score, the first score of the match for young Whippy from Suva, Fiji. Here comes Austin.
And you heard assistant coach Pedro Vandenberg. What an experienced campaigner himself, former Springbok legend. They've just got to get control of this game again.
And look, you know, there's really no stopping Paul Lasike. He's going to have his you know, rumbles here and there, but you got to be able to take out the support around him, and you can do that if you play a little bit smarter on the fringes of Lasike. But I think Vandenberg's right. You have to protect the ball if you're Austin. So many times in the opening sets that they had, just coughing up the ball. And Hermesijs been quiet so far. We haven't even said his name.
Well, I think I said it 3 times in the open to the game, and not since then, which is unusual for young Hanko Hermesses. He will need a big 40 minutes if they are to claw their way back here. Waiting the whistle from Scott Green. 40 minutes left to play in Salt Lake City. It'll be the Warriors kicking off. They're on the left.
Couple tries and they're right back in this. If you're Austin, you just got to, just keep staying on the job and hopefully get the first try, and then you're right back in it.
Well, this will help as that one trickles over the dead ball line. We'll come all the way back to the halfway line where Kurt Morat, standing hands on hip, disappointed. And, we heard Stacey mention some of the differences between a grass field and the field turf. And that's one of them. The ball's going to kick here. It's going to dry out a lot quicker.
Oh, it sure did. Scampered into.
Let's take a look at that bench, Brian, for Utah. A couple of changes in the starting lineup has affected the bench, though.
Indeed, and we saw Corey Olsen and Mike Polifau, wearing 19 and 21, actually got the start. So still Saya Uhila and Vainikolo as bench players, and they could have a huge impact coming off the bench for Utah.
Alf Daniels electing to go with a little bit of a lighter pairing there, with Mike Polifau getting the start. Perhaps he's going to use the battering ram combo of Lasike and Vainikolo later in the match. Suniula, speaking of battering rams, right up the middle. Suniula, the dummy. There's Hermesses. Hanko Hermesses, his first touch to the corner. He won't get there. Dragged down just short for the Warriors. Oh, referee Green wants to take a look here. As he calls timeout, he may have been able to slide his way over the try line. What great lead-up work from Suniula, though. And just when we say a quiet game for Hermesses, he pops up.
I think he heard us. I'm right here, says Hermesses. Well, the discussion by the referee and then with the TMO is going to be about the movements that Hanko Hermesses made here. Look at the break by Suniula. Says Polisike is not the only inside center in this game. Hanko, now watch him drive for the line. He's allowed one movement, and I think he's over the line, dots it down, and perhaps this will stand. Momentum carries him forward. He's not allowed to go forward any longer, but he's already over the line. Try awarded. So Hanko gets Austin the 5-pointer they need, and an easy conversion coming up for Guillemon.
There he gets the thumbs up. Hey, give me the ball a little more, he says. I can make it happen.
Absolutely.
You mentioned, Brian, just a couple of tries, and they're back in that. That's the start that Austin were looking for. Now just a 10-point ball game with a kick to come. Oh, off the post, no good. Conversion stays away. Let's go down to the sideline to Stacey Pates. What do you got for us, Stacey?
Weren't you gentlemen just talking about how you weren't calling Hanko's name enough? How about that? He definitely gave you something to talk about. Speaking of, he's a man of many names. He's gotten a lot of nicknames over the course of these first 4 weeks. They call him the Hammer, most recently the Terminator. Sources close to the team tell me he kind of plays it off, but the Terminator might actually stick. The scary thing is he's 21 years old. He's going to do so much in this league.
Well, thank you, Stacey. No, 21. I look back many moons ago, when I was that age, players just didn't seem as big as what Hanko is for 21.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and he made the way over from South Africa to Nebraska, the normal route. His father opened up a roofing business in Nebraska and played a little bit of rugby in Omaha, and he has been an absolute star. High school All-American, college All-American, and Hanko, he has got a lot of rugby left in him, and I'd be surprised if he didn't start having to turn down some offers from overseas pretty soon. He's that good.
He has that great pedigree with Heri Hermesses in the family tree there. Legendary Springbok outside back. There's Austin. Made the error on the restart. Now that one going forward. Unable to use it though. Good work from the elite to stop the Warriors inside the 22.
Oh, good, Mikey. Keep playing, boy. Let's go.
AC Palafau. That's on me.
Take a look again at this break that sets up the try. It's Andrew Suniula coming on the switch back inside, and it looked like Tamalau a little bit confused, and that's flanker territory. You got to get out of the scrum and do your job there. Anticipate that break. Credit Andrew Suniula, great line, a great set piece move.
Drew's been around. He's the other seasoned veteran you were talking about in the lineup, 36 years of age. Played a lot of rugby around the world. Has a World Cup to his name as well. As we get a look at young Marcus Walsh, one of those players you mentioned who's on loan from Rooney, Rugby United New York. He'll be joining in 2019. We were talking a little bit about that. What happens if you don't want to go back?
Well, there's a couple of players. Ross Deacon is another one who's come from that New York setup, Rugby United.
Both these packs, 3 minutes into the second half, still probably a little cold from the halftime break. We reset the scrum. It'll be Walsh with the put in. Bark off the bat. Driven backwards though, strong defense from Orkington and Nichols. Now Walsh. Hermesses under pressure. Well, Hermesses just burrowing his way forward before it's finally stripped. Now Elkington. Elkington straightens the attack. They've got some numbers to the left if they can get quick ball here. Nichols. He goes foraging. They'll take the penalty instead. Now comes a very big decision. 10-point ball game. 13 really doesn't change the complexity much. They still have to score twice.
Lots of numbers outside when Elkington got that ball, and instead he turns it upfield. Had a lot of black shirts out there on the corner, though. Take a look at Austin. Some power coming in off the bench as well. Peta Naruma, who played some flanker, but really can play anywhere in the back line and in the back three of the scrum as well. He's a good one. And Todd Clever, the most capped U.S. Eagle of all time, still on the bench. A little bit of speed in the form of Alex Faison-Donahoe as well from Kutztown University. Changes starting to be made here. Mike Palafau takes a bow for the Warriors, and Fatu'u Vainikolo will take his place, the normal starting outside center. And Palafau has had some quality minutes in his first time in a black shirt for this Warriors side. From Utah, Mike Palafau just moved back from Seattle, apparently, and I'm sure his family is happy to have him back in town.
Below two on the line out. Well taken. They come down. Oh, the line out play. Well, that's sublime stuff from the Warriors. The set piece magic strikes. Another try for Utah.
It reminds me of the only try scored in the World Cup final. Remember, the All Blacks did that against France. 2011, I believe it was. And this is a great set piece move. Nobody's covering the hooker. Perfectly executed. Lance Williams out to Lote Tuipolotu. And that man right there, 5'8", and that is generous. He's more like 5'6", goes about 260. Picture this, 5'6", 260. The partner next to him is 6'3", 260, Alex Tucci. They weigh the same. They're 7 inches different in height. He is stout, and no one was going to stop him anyways. But he had clear sailing all the way to the line. A great set piece move to answer back. And now, once again, Austin in a hole.
I'm not sure what was bigger, the run or the smile after the try from Tuipolotu. And I'm sure as the years evaporate, that try will get longer and longer. Unfortunately, we have video evidence, Lottie, so it'll be 5 out as Morath will look to convert here. Stretch this out to a 17-point lead. And this is exactly what Austin didn't want, to give back a try after getting their own out of the halftime break. Goes across the face of the uprights, unsuccessful. Score remains 27-12. And the Warriors, well, they've impressed me tonight, Brian.
Yeah, you know, they've been improving every week. Last week against Glendale Raptors, they really had them on the ropes for a while, and they led them right back into the game. We're able to score some beautiful tries against the #1 team in the league. They were that close, but thwarted at the end. We thought maybe an issue of fitness and a little bit more structure for the Glendale Raptors, but these Warriors improve every week, and it's good to see them playing good rugby at home.
That's good work from, looked like Ilan Padik out there, young Zinzan for the turnover, but now the Warriors get it right back. Looks like Tucci may have spilt that one forward over on that far touchline. And as it stands now, they have the 4-try bonus point. The win would give them 5, bump them up to 7 points on the table to be equal with Austin. Just goes to show how close this year of Major League Rugby is.
You know, not that many swings to have a home game, and only, you know, including tonight, 3, I believe, on the schedule for Utah. So you got to make the most of the home field advantage when you have it.
And we'll address it as it goes on, but that June test window coming up as well, really going to test the depth of some of these sides, and that's where you could see the most movement on that ladder.
Well, and I think that's why the Warriors have to get wins now, because they're going to be without the services of Paul Lasike and Tavita Tamalau when those June tests roll around. And imagine this Warrior squad without Paul Lasike and that go-forward ball that comes from every touch that he gets.
See young Walsh barking orders. A little bit more urgency about this Austin side now. Still plenty of time left on the clock.
Although the same could be said with the Austin Elite, and imagine Austin without Hanko.
I caught up with Pedre. Stacey spoke to him at the halftime break. He was 50-50 to play tonight. He felt with Hanko leaving in a few weeks, it was best that he rest up. Probably a wise choice there. That one wheels. And you see penalty against the Warriors. It really is just a different culture up the front, isn't it? You talk about in American football, kickers and punters, they're their own special breed. Front rowers in rugby, they are a breed of their own.
Take a look at the scrum here, and it pops up, and you can see what the referee is saying is that the Warriors front row popped up, or actually drove straight up instead of keeping their bind and staying down in the scrum. So that's what the penalty is. And now Austin, great field position here, and Guillemot drives one down to the 5-meter line. So this is good territory. And we talked about it before, and you had mentioned, Dan, this is the time where maybe that back row needs to solidify. We've seen them try a few mauls before. Might they go to the maul again? Ben Mitchell, of course, the target for most of the night. And again.
Mitchell, a big presence in the line out. Maul is set. Ball comes to the back. Peterson. Peterson goes forward. Williams brings him down, though. Now we have open play. MSA is looking for an offside penalty, doesn't get it. They go again. This one could be turned over. That's a loose ball. Referee not happy with the challenge, though.
Well, it was Ross Deacon who had taken the hit up, and then the support for him. Ball comes spilling out, but the penalty advantage being played. What do you do here? Maybe they turn the tides here, Dan. Maybe they call for the scrum now. It looks like that's exactly what's happening.
Here you see, this is where things broke down off the back with Pedersen. Yeah, Now goes this next phase, like you said. Ball comes down. Deacon with the run. And right there.
Yeah, so the referee's calling Utah hands in, playing the ball off the ground. So they call for the scrum. Turn the tables.
Oh, quick tap. Hermesses. Oh, Hermesses meet Lasike. Teammates for the Eagles. Not tonight, though, says big Paul Lasike. Now off his feet, needs to let that one go. And now it's turned over. That's a great two-play sequence from Paul Lasike. The big hit, the big tackle, the big steal. And now they clear out to the 22. Buys them just a little bit of pressure relief.
I actually think that first hit up, the tackle was Elkington, one of the undersized flankers. There's Lasike right over the ball. Johnny on the spot. That's just getting it done in all forms. Lasike in defense, on the poach. And we've seen Hermesses run over several players on the trot, and this time just a great tackle coming in from the Warriors.
That one not straight. Well, that's a big error. There's some more changes come in. You see John Cullen out there as well as Sai Uhila. This is what led to the contact. Quick tap from Hermesses. There was Elkington first, and Lasike comes in, finishes it off.
Good double up.
Good teamwork.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. Well, Tamalau's out, and now Saya Uila comes in. He's not small either. The man who wears number 5, but playing in the number 8 position right now. Saya Uila.
It's one thing Coach Alf Daniels does not have to worry about, that's size. He has plenty of size.
You know, you bring Vainicolo in, perennial try scorer for this Warrior team, and then Uila, last week the captain for the squad, and probably one of the most menacing defenders. Just hard to move off the ball as well, and now he's in as a sub.
We've got USA Eagle John Cullen now with the US Army. There's Uhila. He gets his first touch. Nichols comes back. Morath will look to find some open pastures. Hodson, though, safe as a bank. Spent some time in the Munster setup in Ireland. Now over here with Austin Elite, looking to recapture some of that magic from just 7 days ago down in Austin. Picked up 2 brilliant tries there. As Austin now continue to push forward just short of the halfway line. Gearman. There's Hodson again. Oh, another big collision. It's Elkington again. Well, he's hitting well above his body weight, is Elkington. But now, loose play, and this is what hurts the Warriors. They get a little caught up with the big hits. Cullen there does well to get across and shut things down. Gearman. Ellen Puddick beats one. Puddick. Oh, the left foot step from Puddick. Magic stuff. Puddick still going. Anderson just gets enough on him to bring him down inside the 22. They have numbers to the right. Gearman, crossfield kick. Looks for Suniula. The bounce is perfect. Suniula, the corner, he cannot make it. The cover scramble.
Look who chops him down. It is his counterpart, Paul Lasike. That is a classic matchup. Ball bounces kindly right into the hands. And then just one Buffalo meets another. Man, compelling matchup from the beginning, and love to see those two squaring up.
Well, Mike Friday touched on this recently about getting players into rugby at high school, letting them go to other sports if they're that talented, and then they come back. When Paul Lasike first came back, he was rusty. He was, and fair enough to him to be that rusty, but the improvement he's made in the past 12 months, Brian, has been incredible. Like some of the nuances to the game that he has recaptured so quickly. Well, Mike Friday, the old Dodger, he might be onto something.
He might. Well, you know, when that person is Paul Lasike, though, with a rugby pedigree, raised in New Zealand before making his way over to the U.S. and BYU, wouldn't take him long to get back in form.
We've also got Joey Yosefo down at the Houston Sabercats, who, well, we thought the Houston Sabercats. He gets a phone call. He's on a plane to Carolina for mini-camp with the Panthers. So,
well, take a bow, Paul Lasike. He has put on a show tonight at this home field for the Utah Warriors, and he deserves the ovation.
Still, though, the Warriors under pressure in the lead, 27-12. Almost 60 minutes gone here. They'll have this scrum inside the 22. Plenty of time to stage a comeback here for the Austin Elite.
So now Paki Afu, number 22, comes in. An all-Tongan center pairing here. Vainikolo and Afu, but it's the Elite.
And there's a penalty coming in. Brayton Bark is slung to the ground. Did not see the referee's signal.
So not releasing the tackled player. Maybe a discussion here. Scott Green definitely in control of this match. And Guillermin points to the sticks. And probably a smart move. And if you look at the score, 15 points down, Dan, at some point you're going to have to get 3. Or you're going to have to score 3 tries. So wise move, I think, for the Elite to take the points.
I think a lot of teams look at the scoreboard, forget that it's possible to chip it away with 3 points. I'm a big fan of taking points, especially when they're on offer like this, Brian, and I think this is a good call from Austin. And it is successful, 27-15. When we return from the break, the second half concludes as Austin try to come back against the Utah Warriors. And welcome back to Zions Bank Stadium as we enter the closing periods here of this Week 4 matchup. Utah Warriors versus the Austin Elite. 27-15 is the score, Brian. And we're almost settled back into that arm wrestle again in this last 10 minutes here.
Yeah, kind of fits and starts, you know, and a little bit of exciting action followed by a bit of a lull in the last 5 minutes. And a couple of points, though, on the board for Austin, and this might change things.
Talk about a first touch. Alex Faison-Donahoe, he gets a brilliant first touch, and he finds that man, Ramesses, as he takes it up to the 22. The Elite, they come out of the break firing, long flat pass. Taylor, he has the ball now. Out to Whangawhia. That tackle may have slipped up just a little bit. Yes, advantage comes the way of Austin. They have this penalty advantage in their back pocket here. They would love another try, though. Shade. No advantage. We'll come back for the penalty for the high tackle. And let's go down onto the sideline and check in with Stacey, who has some news on Paul Lasike.
Good. Thankfully, the news is good, guys. When he was running off the field, as he sat on the bench, I went and spoke to him personally, asked him, hey, are you okay? He said, yep, I'm perfectly fine, just being subbed off. He didn't even show any signs of being tired. As a matter of fact, when he was sitting on the bench, there were a slew of young kids sitting around talking to him, and he was just enjoying the conversation. He is doing just fine.
Quality minutes for Paul Lasike. Now you think about almost everything that happened tonight so far for the Warriors emanated from the play of Paul Lasike, so well-earned rest. Well, you never do like to be subbed out of a game, Dan. I remember the few times, and it's just you never want to come out.
Well, if I was Paul, I'd be hoping it was a little more comfortable in this 12-point buffer to be sitting down. They could use the big man out there. As the Warriors are able to turn the ball over there. Opportunity will go begging for Austin as we enter the final 20 minutes. How many more opportunities they will have, we don't know, but you want to make the most of what you have left here if you're Austin.
Yeah, the net loss is going to be about 10 meters, but you know, you got that 5-meter throw, you got to make that throw. They've had success tonight going straight to Ben Mitchell off the top. This time, I think the Warriors got wise to their number one. So Todd Clever comes in as a sub for the Austin Elite. And there's Tui Pelotu, try scorer for the Warriors, who has a seat as well.
Of course, those interchanges will be critical at the closing stages of this game. Now, Hudson looks to spread his wings out in that far right-hand touchline. They turned it over again, though, Austin Elite. But it shouldn't hurt them unless we no advantage there for the Warriors. We may come back. We're going to play the line out. So, again, not a bad net loss there, Brian.
No, and that's Micah Hofolka, who's come in for Utah. And he ends up with the ball spilled by the Elite. But he's bundled into touch, and so the Elite get the ball right back. But this is exactly where they started before, just on the opposite side of the field. See if they can hit pay dirt with this throw. Look for Ben Mitchell again.
And the bell tolls for Big Ben. He takes the ball off the top. Now they come down with Deacon. More times Deacon, Hernanes can touch the ball. Feel the better Austin will be. There's Elkington. Oh, Cullen. Brilliant steal from Cullen. Now he charges up towards the 22. And Whippy, he sits in the pocket looking to clear. Austin have done well, though. They're back three. They've flown back. Whippy, he may not kick it all. A little opening for Whippy. He slices through Whippy. He's got support on the outside. Long floating pass. Lauti down that left touchline. Back inside to Whippy. Can they go end-to-end here, the Warriors? And now Austin, they've scrambled. They've got back. There's numbers to the right. They need some ball here. They need some clarity in that breakdown. They pick and drive again. A player down in backfield for the Warriors. And now slowly they pick and go again. They're around the corner. They're over the line. The crowd like it. Does the referee like it? Well, we are having time out here. He's trying to separate both these sides, Brian. End-to-end stuff, though.
Yeah, I like this. Well, great job here by the Warriors. Full field. Take a look at the line. Looked like Scott Green was right on top of it. Good eyes on the ball, and wonder if any look he gets from the TMO will be any better.
Well, I've often thought you can get a result from body language, and if Austin's anything to go by, could be a 5-pointer here. They look thoroughly disappointed after the initial. Here we go. This is another angle we can look at it. There's the charge. The second effort. definitely over the line. Does he ground it? Well, Hill is right there. He's happy. Williams is happy.
They're certainly in goal. The question is, was there any Austin elite body preventing the grounding of that ball?
Now they're going way back to look at the pass from Whippy. And as we take one more look at the grounding here. And again, always tough. A mess of bodies there. There's a second drive. And there you can see it looks like Hodson's claiming to be under the ball, but well, sometimes it's good to be a commentator, Brian, not a referee.
Well, I like the work from John Cullen all the way back near the 5-meter line. The steal, the rip, and then he runs straight into the number 10. The classic forward play. Steal the ball, find number 10 to run into. It's exactly what he does to start that gallop by Whippy. And I think everybody from Austin expected Whippy. No tries, says the referee. Well, disappointing.
Crowd letting their feelings be known there with that decision. And we'll step away for a moment as their injured player gets tended to. When we return, the second half will continue here as Austin look to continue the comeback against Utah Warriors. And welcome back, Salt Lake City, Zions Bank Stadium, week 4 of Major League Rugby. And the Utah faithful, they have turned out in droves here in somewhat uncharacteristic cold weather, mid-May.
Lots of discussion here, and if anyone confused about what was happening in goal on the other side of the field, they were checking for the try, and apparently the referee's discussion with the TMO is that there was an obstruction way back in the Warriors 22, but right now it is the other Whippy. That is Jared Whippy, brother of Josh, who a few weeks ago broke his tib and his fibula in a match right here in Utah. And it looks like from the pictures we saw that Jared Whippy might be joining his brother in rehabbing a lower leg injury. Unfortunate for the Whippy brothers. We won't show you that injury, but it was significant enough that he's wearing an air cast, and our best to Jared Whippy as he's gonna be sidelined for quite some time. Dan?
Yeah, very unfortunate, Brian. Obviously the injury to his brother Josh a few weeks ago, and well, what are the odds of that? Both brothers, almost an identical injury on the same field. It's not good, and we obviously send our thoughts and wishes to a speedy recovery for both Whippy boys. And that is going to be a tough adjustment too for the Warriors. And let's go down now to the sideline with Stacey.
Well, obviously that's news no one wants to hear, especially the twins' mother. This is Mother's Day weekend. Today also happens to be her birthday. They're going to maybe have some extra time together, not the way that they would want, but that is the story right here, right now.
There must be some broken mirrors, black cats, and ladders walked under in the Whippy house.
You know, here the good news is this: is that normally, you know, this kind of injury, although it feels bad, looks bad, you're back on it, you're running again in a couple months, and hopefully that's the case for both these Whippy kids. And I've known them for a while and tracked their progress through BYU. Both great kids, originally born in Suva, Fiji, and ended up over here at BYU. Great family, the Whippies, and I think hopefully everybody, their thoughts are with the Whippy boys tonight.
There's another scrum at the penalty. Another penalty at the scrum. And decision time for Utah here into the final 14 minutes. They're going to go for the scrum. It's been an interesting battle up front in the scrum this evening, Brian.
Yeah, lots of intrigue, because I think both scrums, both packs of forwards are under the impression that they have the dominant pack. And neither one so far has shown that, although you'd have to give the edge to the Austin Elite.
Walsh in. Untidy at the back there for Hermesses as he's brought down on the 22. Walsh now. Clever. Well, taken off the ball. Clever wasn't actually him. I think Mitchell may have poached that one from just in front of the most capped USA Eagle. Now he gets a touch. He goes up to the 22. Walsh to his right, Gearman. Long pass now. Hudson turns, Suniula back inside. They've had a lot of success with that switch play already this evening.
I'll tell you what, for 36 years old, Andrew Suniula still has a lot of nimbleness in those feet of his.
We will definitely appreciate you saying that as well. He's never...
Lots of people associate Andrew Suniula with the term nimble.
First thing that jumps to my mind. And now Gearman finds the nimble Suniula.
Oh, look at him.
Wow, silky skills from the inside centre. He's doing it all. Although, Lauti will look to hurt them here. Well contained by Hermesses out in that far touchline. Uhila finds Forrester. Forrester may have spilt this one forward. He has advantage here to Austin. Now comes across, flat pass. Taylor goes wide, picks up Faison Donahoe.
Breitenbach wearing the number 8 for Austin, up very slow after that last phase.
Now the penalty at the breakdown against the Warriors.
A little sloppy here in the last 15, and rain coming down now. A little bit harder at Zions Bank Stadium. Take a look. Looked like maybe the knee of Awila into the back of Breitenbach. And everybody up, and Breitenbach is finding his way back to the rest of his pack.
Been a good shift this evening for Breitenbach. Just an accidental knee there. Never a good feeling.
Especially if that knee is attached to Saya Awila.
There's that switch again. Suniula. More direct, less nimble. Clever. He's wrapped up by Jensen. Walsh finds Mitchell. Good grassing tackle from McClellan though. Now Shade. Cullen looks for the steal. Can't secure it this time. First outing for Cullen today. So he's recovered from a knee injury. That one ricochets. Walsh picks it up. Can he get a second? Walsh is over. Beautiful stuff from the little scrum half.
Well, that wasn't the intention of that kick, but sometimes you put it off your foot and it ricochets and it finds its way back to you and it bounces around and it's anybody's ball, and that time it's Marcus Walsh's ball.
We talked about those 3 points that Gearman elected to take earlier in the second half. They're looking pretty good right about now as they are down by 7.
And the kick by Hodson, and it just caroms off of a Utah player and right in the hands of Walsh. And we have seen that before tonight. Walsh over the line. 2 tries on the night for the youngster, the Irish-born scrum half, Walsh.
Referee just going up to the TMO to take one last look before he lets Gearman take this conversion. They're checking the onside, perhaps. No problems at all.
Now, as soon as it touches the Warrior player, and all is good again, and that's exactly what the referee says. And so Guillamon with a chance to put Austin .
Good strike from the young Frenchman. It is successful. 22-27, 5-point ball game as we enter the last final 10 minutes. Well, is it going to be the comeback in the rain for Austin, or do the Warriors hold on for their first win of the season?
Well, the way that Utah had responded from that early second half try from Austin, you'd have thought that they had control of this match, but just like that, Austin's back in it. Lots of time left.
That is a great kick from Morath there. Finds the sideline.
Faison Donahoe, the substitute winger for Austin, looked a little confused about whether to take that ball in the air or let it bounce, and he lets it bounce. And so now it's Austin deep in their own territory, though. A great kick by Morath.
And Austin. Oh, they're giving up the easiest of points here. Over they go. Tick for tat. Beautiful stuff. The Warriors are in. Hoffelgar, he gets the try.
Well, sometimes the ball just lands in your hands, Dan. And that's exactly what happens to Micah Hafoka. From Tokomalolo, Tonga. One of 3 players on this Warrior squad who went to the same high school back in Nuku'alofa, the Leohana High School. A barber by trade. Spends his days mowing mullets and his nights playing rugby for the Warriors. Some of the members of the LDS Church, when they do their mission, Dan, they get really exciting places like Paraguay, the Philippines, one of the players here, and Hafoka had his mission in New Jersey.
Hopefully north or south, not around the Newark area.
Right?
Although we love our fans in Newark.
Indeed, indeed.
We're very big in Newark, so hi to all our fans out there in New Jersey. Now Morath, 10-point ball game, looking to make it 12, under the watchful eye of Don Putty there in the background. I'm sure that young Don Putty wishes he was out there to help this side close out their first victory. Well, the crowd, they tell the story before the flags even go up. It's successful. 34-22. The Warriors, just like that, retake that nice little buffer they had over Austin. As Gearman elects to drive this one deep. Morath inside the 22 will look to put this out in the fall. As the heavens have opened up here in Salt Lake City and the rain is tumbling down.
Dan, go back to that last try and you look at the kickoff from Morath, and it bounces out and gives Austin that deep line out. And from that line out, it's an easy 5-pointer for the miss throw. But look at the rain coming down. There are so many permutations that can affect the line out. An absolute downpour is one of them, and might have had something to do with that line out that went over the top and into the hands of Hafoka. And once again, line out sloppy from Austin and a knock on.
Well, the handling errors really coming back to haunt Austin Elite here tonight. There's the try scorer, Hafoka. Looking to keep up his trend of strong work. Morath runs into Suniula. This is a bit of history between those two players playing with and against each other. Suniula told me before, he goes, the reason Kurt had a rough time defending is because I did all the tackling for him when we were younger. And you see Suniula, that man, low grassing tackle. Nichols replaces his brother at scrum half. Jensen, strong run, Jensen, open spaces. Fullback Hudson does well to bring him down. That was Gearman, sorry. Now Morath, kick over the top, needs a chase, no one at home. The ball sits up, it's towed through. There's the try, and what a try. That's going to put the nail in the coffin. The Warriors, they're going to get home.
I'll tell you what, a little critical of Morath. We talked about that before, but he has been absolutely on fire tonight. Great work with the ball in hand, and then the nice little chip as well. And Nichols just hangs up perfectly for the scrum half.
I thought the younger of the Nichols had been subbed off. His brother usually steps in the scrum half for him, but he's still out there doing his thing. He gets a try as well. And that man you talked about, Brian Morath, he'll look to convert. He was playing in Japan before he got over here, and obviously with the Wolves being in Super Rugby, the level of club rugby has slipped a little bit in Japan, understandably. But he's excited to be back here. It's his second stint in the United States, and I think he's been a really good influence, especially on some of these younger players in the Utah Warriors. Great role model to look up to.
Well, and you look at island culture, you know, in a country like Tonga, and the number of Tongan players on this Utah squad, and you take a player like Morath, who's 33 years old, and there is a natural cultural respect for the elders in Tonga, and you're right, he would add a lot of clout and leadership.
And Stacey, we're going to go down to the sideline. I know you packed your rain boots today, and lucky you did.
Yes, I'm very glad I've got my trusty rain boots on. I want to talk about the differences between the rugby ball and a traditional American football. If you look closely, there's no laces, there's no extra grip. None of the players wear the gloves that we're used to seeing American football players wear. As this rain continues to come down, it's affecting the game in so many ways. All these gentlemen are continually challenged extra by this ball.
Thank you, Stacey. And yeah, the conditions definitely testing both these sides. Utah appear to be handling them the better though this evening. There's Cullen, goes short. And again, the big man, Afoka, one try to his name. Kenny out a second. A scrambling Todd Clever is able to bring him down. And no advantage. A penalty there against Hudson. They tap quickly through Nichols. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for points here. You see Uhila, he's pointing to the post. Take enough time off the clock to get as close to 80 minutes, Brian.
Yeah, and that might be it. Although it looks like Morath is going for the touchline here. And why not? Give the crowd something to see. If you're a spectator and you come out and you get a night like this, it's driving rain and in the 40s, you deserve to see your home team go for another try right at the end, and I think that's exactly the right thing to do if you're the Utah Warriors. Good decision by Kurt Morath.
Well, the good thing is not a single person has left. They've stuck here right to the end.
Good little crowd here at Zion's Bank.
Yeah, I expect them to be one of the better supported sides here this year, Brian. I mean, Utah's a really great little sporting state. Got the Jazz, and then after that, you're kind of looking for another sports team, and no football, no hockey, no I think they've got a minor league baseball team here. There's Nichols, finds McClellan. The Warriors looking to salute their fans with one more try here. Jensen, he had a strong run leading up to the last try. Another one there from the number 4. Nichols. Now they go wide. Brought down there is Afu. Pakiasoni, Afu. And these exciting interchange players here for the Warriors. Morath, long pass. Vanikolo under pressure. No advantage. We'll come back with the penalty. Now we'll see if they take the 3 points to end this one here off the boot of Kurt Morath.
Well, if you didn't do it before, you shouldn't do it now. Offside, says the referee.
Looks like
Morath to the corner once again.
And they will have the line out. Obviously, that rule change came in last summer, Brian. You cannot end on a penalty, so even with the kick to the line, they're going to play the line out. I'd say they're going to keep this one in pretty tight here.
Well, let's take a look at the game in its entirety. And Utah, I think, really a step forward, and maybe some questions for this Austin team.
I thought last week they'd really turned the corner. There's Afoka again, the beneficiary of a lucky bounce on the line out. I thought they'd turned the corner. They looked very strong against New Orleans last week. Zafu spills that ball. Now the elite, will they have the last say here? They go wide, Gilman. And you see Hudson, he didn't like his odds there in the corner as he dribbles it over the sideline. And there's the whistle, it's full time. The Warriors
They get their first taste of success and run out winners 41-22. When we return from the break, we'll have your man of the match from this epic encounter. It's the Warriors defeating the Austin Elite.
Major League Rugby on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Umbel. Vote for today's Man of the Match, brought to you by Umbel. By The Staging Guy, official staging guys of Austin Elite Rugby. And by X-Blades, official technical kit supplier of Major League Rugby. Major League Rugby on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Umbel. Vote for today's Man of the Match, brought to you by Umbel. By The Staging Guy, official staging guys of Austin Elite Rugby. And by X-Blades, official technical kit supplier of Major League Rugby.
In rainy conditions, the Utah Warriors have run out winners convincingly in the end over Austin. And we'll go to highlights of our Umbel Man of the Match. And it was the fly half for the Utah Warriors, Kurt Morath and Brian. A real tradesman-like performance from the 10.
Yeah, and he did it all tonight. He tackled when he needed to. He was good with the foot, both from the tee and out of hand. And then when he needed to make the pass, he did. Great support crew around him. But a really good night, solid night from Kurt Morath. That was the nail in the coffin right there, the last little chip over the top for Nichols. And a well-deserved Man of the Match.
And our Umbel Man of the Match is with Stacey Pates now down the sideline.
Well, any home win is a sweet thing, but this one is especially significant. Tell us why.
Yeah, well, our first one at home. The first 2 weeks of the competition sort of didn't really go our way. You know, we came close. And we're improving every week, so to get the win today, it means a lot to the boys.
Describe going forward what you've learned about your team and what you expect.
Well, like I said, you know, every week we've been improving, just getting to know each other and stuff like that. And I think slowly we're gelling together, and you know, every week we're improving. So next week, hopefully, we can do that again.
Home field defended. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
guys.
Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Kurt Morath. Great performance from the Warriors tonight, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. A step in the right direction. Like I said, Austin, you know, you got to go back to Texas and really start asking some hard questions about the front row and about the pack and you know, and the ability to break into the open field. So some work to be done back in Austin.
It was an action-packed Friday night. Join us next week as Week 5 kicks off down in Houston as New Orleans take on the SaberCats. For Brian Hightower and Stacey Pates, as well as our entire crew, I'm Dan Power. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.